running two phones. We're listening to Cog, Naming the Elephant. Till people join. Blocked on Facebook, huh? Howdy to just those just joining. We're just gonna see what's happening on this one. I thought I'm just gonna do a live stream off of two phones, one on Facebook and one on Instagram. And I think the one on Facebook knows that I'm trying to dick with their system. Oh no. Hey Danny. Alright, there's someone on. Yeah, Facebook's weirdly banning me more so than anyway, let's just continue. So, Naming the Elephant by Cog, great song. I thought it was quite apt for the topic of this live stream, which is essentially the eve of September 24, which a lot of people seem to be worried about. And I don't know if people are familiar with patterns, but I'll just run you guys through a few patterns. I've been told since 2012, roughly, the world's going to end, there's going to be apocalypse, the financial system's going to crash tomorrow, they're going to turn the lights out tomorrow. It's like, even in the, recent history since the floods. Yes, the floods weren't the best thing for some reasons. I think they were a great thing for many reasons. But since then, I've been told more than 10 times, and by people that are quite popular on social media, they're like, dude, it's going to be worse than before. There's another flood coming. Even on my Living Free movement call, which I actually just got a live stream from there, which was good. People are telling me on Thursday, they're like, oh, stay dry. Going to get a lot of rain up there. And I'm like, we're not. No, we're not. It's not going to be worse than before. We're not flooding again. It's the amount of mind that is being paid to these agendas is not good. We need to start checking where we're paying our attention. Now you think about, it's gonna be weird looking at two phones, but just bear with me. Pay attention. Think about that terminology. You pay attention. You pay, operative word, attention. It's a currency. Wherever you are paying your attention, you are giving your energy and you are growing whatever that is. You are paying it. It is a currency. That's why in marketing and advertising, people pay millions and billions of dollars to figure out how to get attention. Why? Because they profit from it. Profiteering is not just a monetary thing. That is just a end result of something else. There's this exchange of value. And what a lot of this world is based on, which I have said several times, but when I do my actual full presentation in Byron here, which hopefully is going to offend most people enough that they'll walk out before I finish the talk. Most people that went to Canberra, they couldn't have flooded these areas without people going to Canberra because they energy harvest that stuff when people don't know what they're doing. They pay attention, they pay it to the wrong people. And that's how you end up with floods and stuff. But it's also why, even though a bunch of Muppets keep trying to tell us, I'm paying attention to the radar and this dude on whatever telling us it's going to flood again. And I'm like, no, it's not. When are people going to realize that we are the most powerful thing here? Period. Like, bar nothing. It's us. It's not anything else but us. The thing is that humans are like rats and they're very easily controlled when they don't get to know themselves yet because they're not authoring and becoming their own authority. So they just start creating things for other people. They create things like earthquakes and floods and whatever else. They're not just a natural, so to speak, phenomena. We're natural. We can create that phenomena too. People, I feel, really need to get to grips with this. Otherwise, you're just doing the job of every Muppet that wants you to believe that and create it for them. It's as simple as that. I can't say it any more simply than that. So when this whole September 24 thing, thankfully people haven't been troubling me too much, but even within groups of people, the few exceptions I make to being in some group chats, and these guys are just posting all this, oh, it's going to collapse tomorrow, got to get ready. It's like, get ready for what? Getting ready for pulling your finger out of your assholes? Like, the only reason people are concerned with that is because they're not creating anything. So you just get concerned with drama. That's it. For the people that are creating and authoring, They don't, even if there was some kind of catastrophic collapse, it does not affect those people anywhere near the amount that it affects people who have their fingers in their assholes and who just are paying attention to whatever's coming next on their phone, because you're only interested in that if you're not interested in yourself. That's how it works. It's a default mechanism. So we've got to pay more attention to what we are creating from our inherent place of power and recognizing the power that we are, remembering who we are. If you pay, remember that's the operative word, pay attention to that, you empower that. If you pay your attention to the bullshit out there, which is, I don't know if, as I said, if you don't recognize patterns, I've heard this same story 1,000 times too many. It's the same story every time. Why do people not recognize this yet? It's a spell. It's why if I could recommend people listen to anyone, listen to Owen Benjamin. He is a master at breaking spells. And just don't watch that shit. Just don't pay attention to it. Just focus on creating for yourself. Then even if, by this whole catch-22 thing, even if something happened, you are far better off to deal with it. And not only deal with it, you'll have a great time. It'll work to your benefit and in your favor. I'm going to tell you, and I don't make any apologies for this, but the last 3 years have been the best ever. And I know a lot of people have had problems, like they've had friends that suicided. They've lost jobs, lost friends, lost income, were locked out of would quarantine somewhere. I'm going to tell you that was all by choice and consent. You're going to argue till you're blue in the face that you had no choice, but everybody that took a jab had a choice. I don't care what the excuses and the stories are. Everyone that took a jab had a choice. For everybody that was whinging about losing a job, I can show you at least as many people who didn't get a jab, didn't wear a mask, kept the same job and got a pay rise or got a better job because of who they are. They're not whingers. They're not waiting to complain about something. They're not waiting for somebody to tell them that someday someone's going to turn off the power. I mean, how many times have you heard that? I even lost a relationship pretty much because someone was begging me to buy fuel because some muppet was telling them that fuel was going to run out in October. And I had mates, again, people who have big channels, and they're like, bro, I'm going to get a private jet because in October it's going to get too hot around here. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's weak and it's pathetic. And it's not befitting of living men and women who are worthy of dominion of this realm. We've got to start thinking differently and acting differently if we want this world to be a better place. If you're just going to keep looking at your phone, what is going to happen on September 24? Let's find out. Let's go to I spend too much time on my phone.com. The world's going to end. What about I have no internal power and I outsource it to my phone and the internet and whoever I'm following that tells me the world's going to end? The world's going to end. Let's go, I love rollerblading.com. The world's going to end. Do you want me to keep going with this joke? Or do you get the picture? Stop paying, operative word, attention to the bullshit. Now, I'm going to tell you that the last 3 years have been the best years of my life because of a few reasons. For myself and for everybody got an opportunity to get to know themselves better. That, I believe, I'm not saying it's definitely the truth, I believe that is the prime reason and purpose we are here in this realm, is to get to know who we are, to know thyself, start remembering who we are. That's it. And you don't get that. People didn't have a reason to get to know themselves except for in the last few years. I mean, that's an overstatement, but I'm telling you that it's just been accelerated in the last few years. It's been a gift. And even mates were telling me the other day, they're like, yeah, but there was lockdowns and stuff and you couldn't get into shops. I'm like, no, you couldn't get into pubs where you could smoke and drink and do gay shit, but you could get into organic food stores. Me and other people had no problem ever. And it's not because I know common law, which I never use. It's not common law. It's not like I know laws and shit. That's not it. Because there are people who know nothing about what I teach people about communication and rights and what have you that also had no problems. So I just am not willing to tolerate these stories and these victim mentalities that keep getting thrown around about it's been so hard and it's going to get harder. No, it's not. You're getting hard. You're getting in your own way. And to be quite perfectly honest, you're getting in other people's way as well, because that's not what a well-rounded and grounded man or woman who's an adult does. It's what a child does. Got it? And I'm just saying this because everyone's better than that. I'm not putting people down as in you suck. Everybody's better than that, and everybody is capable of making these choices to live a better life by being a better individual and expressing better things into the world. So life's been better for me than ever, and life's been better for a lot of people than ever. And I'll tell you one thing, those that got a jab and are whinging about it, or everyone's like, oh, hard luck, I'm going to say that getting a jab and getting an injury is a better life than just living a delusional illusion. To just be going to your job and then watching Netflix and then going getting pissed and then fucking someone and then fucking someone else and then fucking yourself with more alcohol and TV and other bullshit. That's worse than getting a jab and getting an injury, because that injury at least gave you some kind of glimpse into being alive and having thoughts, actions, and consequences and creating something. You created something awful, but at least you know you can create it. That's the power we have, and it was all by choice and all by consent. And way too many people just keep peddling the mainstream narrative for them because they don't know how to create. But that's also an illusion, because you damn well do know how to create. We all do. We're all masters of creation, believe it or not. You don't have to be a fantastic artist and do, that's not mine by the way, but like paint wonderful things or write music like Cog does. You know, you don't have to be that. We're all masters of creation. But while we're just paying attention to all this shit and creating it for them, well, hey, you're still a master of creation, but you're doing it for somebody that is not you. That's why you're paying it away. You're paying it. Start paying yourself. Don't you want to be more wealthy in every way? Don't you want to be happier? Do you want to live a better life? Well, do it. You have the power to do that, and it's just a choice. It's a decision. It's just a decision to be more. And you know what stops people? It's fear. It's fear of getting it wrong, not being good enough. Or what if I do meditate on the clouds? I've watched it that many times, clouds dispersing, because I meditated right underneath them, that it's not like an anomaly anymore. And other people have experienced the same. But while, you know, people who just keep sharing shit, guys, watch out, like the amount of people that were messaging on my stuff that I deleted them all. They're like, oh, look out, guys, flood warning. It's like, stop it. I mean, to be fair, that level of being does not have anywhere near as much power and influence on the environment as the level of being that actually gets this sort of stuff. So it's actually fine. But I just say that because those people can do much better. Those people actually are capable of doing these other higher level things. They're just choosing not to. And the reason they're choosing not to is fear. Like I say, what if that doesn't work? What if, like, I don't want to choose the best scenario because if it's not that, it'll seem like I failed. So I'd rather peddle the narrative like, look out guys, it's going to get super wet tomorrow and the financial system's going to collapse, because at least you can be right about it and therefore not be wrong. Therefore you didn't have to fear being wrong. Good old ego can take a nice little rest in its little comfort bubble and take it up the arse. Sounds perfectly fine for most people out there, but that's not what I choose to do. I choose to be an author of my own reality and therefore become the authority in my own world. And that's why I get to walk around without problem. That's why I don't fear there being rain or no rain. That's why I don't feel a financial collapse. That, from what I can gather, is probably one of the main things that could potentially happen on September 24th. Haven't heard that before, at least 1,000 times over the last 20 years. And even if it did, it doesn't matter. It matters for people who are burdened heavily with debt. Who put a gun to your head and made you get debt? The debt slavery system is just that. Did you want to be a slave? Why did you get debt? Well, I had no choice. That's bullshit. Stop making excuses and telling stupid stories to yourself. That's not the truth. The one thing I can't stand is lying, and too many people, this is going to form the foundation and basis of this talk that I'm going to do, and I intend to make it very humorous, but I fully intend to make it so offensive for people that most of them walk out before I finish the presentation. But I'll be filming it so everyone will get to see it anyway. But I just can't handle the lies. It's just lies everywhere. People lying to themselves. It's ridiculous. And that's what that relates to is this. Most of what I talk about when it's like, people think I talk about common law, which I don't. It's just rights. Like, where's our standing? What's our inner standing, right? Well, it's this. We're living beings. We have dominion here and full power. Now, the lie is also synonymous with the fake or the fiction. So that's the world of persons and all that other crap, wards of the state, anything that comes under the state. That's a lie. I don't like lies. I don't like it. It's a fake fictional world. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the world of the living, the world of great power, the world of great love and nature and everything. It's beyond words. It's beyond beautiful and it's beyond expression where you can literally die in any moment because you're already in heaven. It's as simple as that. No matter what's going on around out there, because it's your creation. You've created that world, which is what we're here to do. That's the Garden of Eden. It's not like, I'll get to there if I be a good boy and die. Like, we're in it. But you make it not that by buying into the lies and giving your power away and paying your attention away to other bullshit. So it's as simple as that. It really is a choice. But like I say, where people are at and where they hear that and they're like, nah, that can't be true. No, I'm never going to try to do that because if I fail, I'll be a failure, obviously. And then I'll suck. And that's worse. I'd rather be right about an apocalypse. And do you know what apocalypse actually means? It actually just means a revealing. It actually means lifting the lid of something. Like being asleep or being fictional and then lifting the lid and walking to the land of the living. Like pretty much most of the Old Testament was about. Which is essentially like the Jesus character is pretty much just that. It's like leaving this land of fiction and walking into the land of the living. And the only way, because it's written in every scripture and every text and every religion and whatever, is fear not. Fear not. Fear not. It's repeated over and over and over. And like Cog and a lot of other people say, fear is the virus. There is no physical virus. It doesn't exist. Fear is the virus. The only way you can get through it and to get to that level of being able to resonate like that and not worry about this and actually create like we're born here to do is to fear not. And that's it. But that's a leap of faith. And therefore, that's where things like faith comes in. Faith in yourself, faith in your brothers and sisters around you, faith in your connection to the divine and what put you here. Faith. Faith can eliminate the fear. It's one or the other for most people until you get to a stage where it's just like that's the status quo. It just is. So if the financial systems did collapse, let's say that happened, well, nothing collapses. People only lose money if other people gain. People don't gain money in the system that we have unless other people lose. But because it's just a representation, meaning fiction, meaning not the real thing, it's just an extension of one thing, and that thing is value. If you have value, you'll never be poor. It's an impossibility. If you have value, it doesn't matter if fuel costs $200 a litre, you'll fill your car with fuel. It doesn't matter. It's a relative system and it's a relative thing, value. So if you simply focus on what your value is and you have none, you have zero value paying attention to idiots telling you the world will end tomorrow. None. But the reality is you have infinite value. You just have to stop looking out there at idiots sharing stupid shit on the internet and look inwards. Oh, holy shit, I'm actually made in God's image. Oops, didn't realize. You have immense, immeasurable value. And if you just realize it and exercise it and create with it, you will never have to fear a financial collapse or an apocalypse of any kind. You just don't have to. That comes with the territory. Fear not. It's simple and it's actually really easy. Now, if it's difficult for you, turn off your fucking phone for once. Just delete any group that's like, bro, have you seen what's going to happen tomorrow? Or Trump's going to do this and Biden's going to fuck him in the ass. And it's like, stop it. Turn it off. It's turning your mind into mushy peas. That's not what your mind is. Your mind is capable of literally changing the weather and the environment around you. Turn off your internet devices if that's what it's doing to you. Just turn it off. You don't need it. It'll be a breath of fresh air when you do it. How's that? It just dropped me out on this one. I don't know if it dropped me out on that one. Anyway, what was I saying? I think people are trying to cancel me, but it doesn't matter. I was literally just saying, even me, don't outsource your authority to me or anybody. You are the only one in this world you can trust, and that's because you are highly trustworthy. You have everything that you need to do well in this life, irrespective of financial systems or weather events or anything else. You have the ability to not just survive that, but thrive in it because you can trust yourself. I just think a lot of us have lost our way and forgotten that. So it's just the remembering of who we are and what we are. And if you need a reminder of that, write it down. Remind yourself every day. Instead of looking at your phone, make a note to remind yourself of who you are and look at it multiple times daily. Make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're filling your body with something that's at least somewhat clean and pure and natural. Same with your water sources. Just make sure you're getting stuff in that's good quality. And if it's not, do your best to make it good quality. If you haven't seen it, watch my All About Water #2 video. It's on my website, tombarnett.tv. Just watch that. I explain a lot about how we structure water ourselves without the need for devices and what have you. But I also put some devices on there if you want to buy stuff. But you don't need to. You can do it yourself. You can filter water yourself. You can purify anything yourself because that's what we're born here to do. We're so highly capable, but you forget it when you pay, again, operative word, your attention to that kind of nonsense. That's up to you. That's your choice. No one's got a gun to your head. If you do that, you consent to it. Pure and simple. You've consented to that. You have outsourced your authority to someone or something else. You've given away. You're saying by default you don't have any power. And guess what? That's what life's like for you. Take it back and all of a sudden life changes. It's amazing. It's beautiful. These are the things that we have the power to do. And if you need a constant reminder, I'll get on and I'll do this every day and I'll remind it and I'll slap it into you with love. I am starting a physical facility to do just that. I'll do a separate live stream on that. But I just had to hammer this home for people because even people who are trying, and they're doing their best. Like, honestly, it might sound like I'm like slapping around people left, right, and center, but there's people here doing their absolute best to be the best they can in this world. And I respect that immensely, I do. But I just think it's about time that people start to recognize the patterns and just stop trying to share all this stuff about it's going to be the next biggest flood and the next one. It's like more than 10 times since the actual floods I've been told that. I'm like, guys, come on. When are you going to learn? That's not happening. There's enough people now who are paying attention to the right stuff who aren't letting that stuff happen. And you're actually getting in their way. So just join the good side. Who did that? Luke Skywalker or whatever. Just stop paying away. I keep wanting to say pay the gay away. Watch Owen Benjamin if you don't get what I mean. But just start paying attention to the right stuff, to yourself. Stop paying it to that stuff. That's all there to harvest from you. And like I said at the start, harvesting energy is what created the first floods. If you haven't noticed, when there was the election, more rain to the point of minor flooding. And then now on this eve of where people are talking about dumb shit like reptilian queens dying and this September 24 thing, more rain. Realize that yes, they can spray the skies to the heart's content. They can use EMFs to control the patterns of it and whatever. But the final ingredient that they need to make it work is you and your energy. And if you give it to them, you only have yourself to blame. If you take it back and do what you're given that power to do by God himself, well, then there's no rain. And it's as simple as that. Now, you can call bullshit on that all you like, but it's just, that's your choice to live that kind of reality of like, oh no, I can't do that, so I'll just keep doing gay stuff and just sharing stuff about the next flood that's apparently going to occur and the next financial collapse that's apparently going to occur and the next lockdown that's apparently going to occur and the next way you're going to die. People in like the truth, if you want to call it that, community, laugh at people who watch the mainstream news. It's like, oh, it's just like bus crash, 17 people die, earthquake, 50 people die. It's going to rain tomorrow, everyone's going to die. And then they're like, oh, those people are dumb. And then they're like, we're going to die 999 different ways tomorrow because of Trump and Biden and then chemtrails and then and it's like, you're doing the exact same thing. How can you not see that? Just change the way you think, change the way you express in the world, and you'll see the world, you'll see a vastly different world around you. And you also won't express mind viruses like COVID. You won't get sick. Even to this day, again, some really good people are not putting them down. They're doing the best they can, but they're not listening because I've told them 1,000 times. You express information. And they're like, no, it must be the chemtrails because I've had a really sore throat. I know a few people with sore throats the last few weeks. I'm like, I haven't had a sore throat. Neither is most people I know that I associate with on a daily basis. No sore throats, no snotty noses, nothing. So it's not the chemtrails, it's you. You're stressed, you're taking mind viruses in and you're expressing that. That's what COVID, so to speak, is. If you're getting, none of that stuff exists as a reality except the reality that you're creating with the vast power that you have. So if you can create that, you can create health. If you can create a shitty life for yourself, you can create a dream life for yourself as well. Because either way, you've created it. So you just have to decide what it is you're going to create. And I'm actually getting really sick of people, including close friends, who just continue to piddle. It is piddling, but it's peddling bullshit narratives that are not theirs. And everybody, dumb as you think you might be, you are not that. Everybody has the ability to create and to create in God's image, essentially. And I mean, nobody is exempt from that, except by your own choice. And that's why you'll consent to just the bullshit over and over and over. It's the same story, by the way, over and over again, because a lot of people have woken up, so to speak, in the last 2 or 3 years. Well, it's not like bragging, but I've known this shit for more than 25 years, at least. I actually knew it from when I was a kid, but I just didn't figure things out till I was in my 20s. 17, I figured it out. So if in my life I can go back and I can show you the same patterns that have happened now for the last and the guys that have been around for longer than me can show you that this has happened not just for decades, but for millennia. Nothing's new. And people are like, no, it's been worse than ever. There's been lockdowns and people lost their job. But I just explained to you, what's being given to us is a beautiful gift and an opportunity to get to know ourselves because it wasn't happening before. It's happening now through this. And like I said, like everything that people are butting their heads up against, it's their choice to butt their heads up against it by their own consent because they're trying to fight something and they're not realizing that the only thing that they're fighting is an expression of them. That's the enemy that's in front of them. They see everything as the enemy. Fuck that, I'm getting through this roadblock. It's like, did you think of just going around it? And not like what? I'm going to go through this in more detail in my big talk, but essentially what happens, the short version, is that the people the controllers, they call them, of this realm, they only control the weak-minded who don't author their own reality. That's the only thing they control, is that they're smart and they figure things out in advance. So they go, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna roll out COVID, okay? So we're also gonna we're gonna pay these celebrity shills and all these people that people look up to and share, most of them are shills. And we're going to put them in the controlled op side. But what we're also going to do is we're going to set up, because we know that when we put these roadblocks in and tell people they can't work again, we know that what they're going to do is not look around it. They're going to go directly to it and fight that very thing that they can't get through and wonder why they end up in getting fines and handcuffed and all that sort of stuff when they could just go around it. But their ego is going to be so hell-bent on trying to do, no, it's the principle. It's not the principle, but the egoic mind that has not figured itself out yet is going to go directly for that. And they set it up as a target to do what? What do they do in Canberra and all those things? To harvest your energy. And they gleefully do it. They want you to go to protests. They want you to kick up a stink. Go, we've got to fight the government. Do this petition. Do this rally. Because what are you doing? You're paying them. Either way, because not enough people are just going, well, that's nice, you can do that, but I'm going to plant a potato in the ground, or I'm going to write this song, or I'm going to find this way around. I can still do everything that I want to do. I'm just going to do it differently. And that's the difference between people who have had the best 3 years of their lives, the last 3 years, and those who are like, oh, this is fucked. I have a heart defect and I can't feel my arm anymore. Or I lost my job. Was that the purpose of your life? You know, I'm going to bet both my testicles that those that lost jobs, so to speak, that was not the purpose of your life. And if you haven't found the gift in it, that's your choice too. You're consenting to the victim consciousness because, as I said, I know many, like I can't even count the number of people on my fingers and toes and probably a chart as well, who got a better deal because who didn't get a jab, didn't wear a mask, didn't lose a job, and it all got a pay rise, all got a better job or whatever. It's just all created something for themselves and like, damn, why didn't I do this before? You know, every single thing that has happened in the last few years has been an opportunity to get to know yourself. And it's only the individual who has been, nah, I just want to whinge. Or they're going, yes, I am going to do this. And they're living a better life as a result. And that's the truth of it all. So I hope that resonates for some people. I don't care if it doesn't for others. People have got to start getting a few slaps. And this whole November 24 shit just needs to stop. So does it's going to flood again. That needs to stop. Biden's going to do this with Trump. That has to stop. Because while you're doing that, I know you're not creating. By default, by virtue of paying your attention to that stuff, start creating. Just anything. Anything is better than what some people are currently doing. And this isn't everybody. There's a lot of people doing some great, inspiring stuff. And I appreciate that immensely. But I wasn't addressing you guys in this one. You probably already know all this stuff anyway. Owen Benjamin doing amazing stuff. Curtis Stone doing amazing stuff. People in Australia, I actually can't name anyone. Doesn't mean they're not, but I actually don't know anyone personally. And that's a shame because all those guys are in America and Canada. I want to be meeting more people who are authoring their reality in Australia and becoming authors. By the way, little hint, that's the name of the private membership club that I'm starting. Authors. Because we need more people authoring to become the authority to change the lay of the land, which will spread throughout and change everything. It's not hard, but people are scared. Like I said, people fear that. They don't actually want that to be a reality because A, it's more comfortable to whinge about stuff, and B, it's easier and better for the ego to be right about some kind of collapse than it is to go out there and create for yourself. And I'm not tolerating that anymore. At all. Not happening. That's not what's acceptable, especially around here, especially for people around Byron who are on one of the most powerful grids on earth in this realm. One of, if not the most powerful grids is right here. And the ley line that runs through here, the song line, whatever you want to call it, goes to every other major point on earth. What we do here affects everywhere else, whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not. And running around trying to lube yourself up based on the agenda is not helping. And it's not why you're here. We're all here. We're all where we are everywhere for a reason. But those in Byron, those around here, you're here for a reason. It's not an accident. And I'm going to go into more detail in this, as I said, in my talk that's going to hopefully get everyone to walk out of the room because they're so offended by what I've got to say. But I feel the need to say it because it's important to me now. Because I thought by this time, at this stage of the game, people would have figured more stuff out, but clearly they haven't. So little check up from the neck up. Clean up here, and out there is going to get a lot cleaner as well. Same as in here. So anyway, that's what I got to say. Stop paying attention, except to what you are creating. Paying is a form of currency. Whatever you pay it to the right people. Don't give it away to others. And otherwise, don't pay it away to others, I should say. You can if you want, just don't whinge about it. Don't pay it away and then complain you got no value or no wealth. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about real wealth. Don't complain if you pay it away. It's your choice. It's your choice where you pay it. Start deciding where you want to pay that attention and what you create as a result. All right, I'm going. See ya.